Look at that. Ad/man. Ad man. Check that out. Check that out. So we were talking backstage, and he's going downtown tonight as well. He's going to go visit the Longhorns, because some of his clients are in the beverage space. He's going to go do some analytics and benchmarking about what college students do after classes end for the summer, for the school year.
Unrehearsed this was, so you're all aware.
So, and I know what kind of benchmarking that will be. So we're talking about programmatic and analytics and benchmarking and doing it in real time. So got my little question sheet here. How would you describe the current state of real-time analytics and benchmarking? What are publishers and brands and platforms doing today?
So I don't think it's very real time. That's for one thing. If you think about technology, technology makes everything move faster, right? And in our space, it couldn't be any more true. That's why we're all here today. While we stand on stage, there's millions and millions of digital assets that are being transacted in real time, yet the buyers and sellers in our space don't have analytics in real time. So I think that's a challenge. I mean, some of the tools that we're using in market today are over a decade old. You know, you think about an ad server, you know, the DFP, for example. Publishers today log into DFP to see how they did yesterday. So I think their buyers and sellers are pretty frustrated with that. And if you look at other markets that transact similarly like we do, the financial markets, everything's in real time. The reporting's in real time. I can see how the potential stock I'm going to buy is performing right now compared to last week, compared to last month or 6-month average. So I think some of those things are missing in our space today.
So more of a Bloomberg terminal.
What happens if I step out of this?
Okay, you got to step back into the circle.
Very intimidating.
So it's more like a Bloomberg terminal. This is what you're talking about for programmatic. Real-time analytics, you can watch it on a day-to-day basis. And kind of Bloomberg kind of screwed himself. He did it for stocks, but then he opened a publishing company and then didn't do it for his own ad network.
Yeah.
So, wow, interesting. So is that what you're talking about?
It is. I think today, buyers and sellers, they sort of feel like they're behind the ball, right? They're trying to play catch up with their analytics to understand how their campaigns are performing or their products that they're listing in these environments as a publisher are being priced and valued. I think it's also difficult for them to understand how they're comparing to other advertisers or other like publishers on the platforms that they're using. So how can you understand the value that you're bringing or how much value you're actually getting if you can't see across the board in that way? So back to the Bloomberg analogy there, there's no Dow Jones average for somebody in our market to log in and see how they're doing. So I think it's overwhelming for them. I think they feel like there's a lot of data. They're trying to play catch up and they don't know how to make sense of it.
So how are publishers and brands and agencies cobbling this together to create more of real-time information that they can act on? Or is there nothing out there?
Well, I think they're doing the best that they can with the data that they have today, right? So as a seller, you're probably pulling reports from your platforms based on category and placement and based on your block lists and your price floors and trying to understand what verticals are selling better versus which verticals aren't generating any revenue for you at all, but it's not as immediate as I think we need it to be.
So they're cobbling it together. Nothing's really happening there. What's PubMatic doing here?
So PubMatic recently, this past Tuesday, we publicly announced the launch of our real-time analytics platform and benchmarking reports. This is something that we launched at the end of 2014 as far as real-time reporting goes. And for the last 3 months, we've been in beta with our clients on benchmarking reports. And when we launched this product, we launched it with sort of 3 points in mind. Ease of use, right? Real-time data, and then benchmarking capabilities. So the system today reports in real time, literally every single minute on our dashboard. A buyer or a seller can come in and see how much money they're spending or how much money they're making in real time. We also built something that's called natural language processing into the reporting tool, which I don't expect many of you in here to exactly know what that means, because I only know it's called natural language processing. But if you think about how your Siri phone works, you ask your phone a question and it gives you back an answer. That's how our system works today. So as a seller, for example, you could type in a search field on the top of our system, show me revenue by advertiser, by buyer, by ad tag for the last 30 days. And it just builds the report instantly. The benchmarking capabilities we put together are becoming very useful for publishers because, and buyers, but for an example from a seller's point of view, how can you understand the share of wallet and share of voice that you're getting from a particular advertiser across an entire platform compared to other publishers on that platform? And even the reverse side from a buyer's perspective, to understand how campaigns are performing, what you're buying, and what your pricing is compared to other on the system. So that's all up and running and something we launched this week.
Okay. And so you've got a number of clients. Are there verticals and clients within those verticals that are taking advantage of kind of that insight, that real-time benchmarking to really maximize it against their competitors?
I think they're all trying to. I think, the auto vertical client is trying to figure out how to get more dollars from travel and entertainment and vice versa. So I think really the ones that will win in the long term are going to be the ones that take the most advantage of the data that is as real time and sort of applicable to what they're doing at that moment, right? Brian earlier from Digitas, he was on stage, and he said that in order for publishers to know how to price their inventory in a private market, they need to understand what the value is in the open exchange. Well, it's hard to build that when you're always using data from the past. So now buyers and sellers can use data from them in the moment.
So you just launched this last week.
Yep.
You're just testing it out with some of your clients.
So we've been testing it. It's now live.
So it's live.
It's live. It's platform live.
And you've seen your clients take advantage of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Great.
Absolutely.
Where do you see this heading? Is that real-time analytics, real-time benchmarking really going to be a big part of programmatic?
I think so. I think buyers expect to buy media in real time. Sellers expect to sell it in real time. So I think both of them should expect to have the analytics of real time. I think right now we're just touching the surface. I mean, think about how much data is passed through in the transactions that we discuss in this environment. It's just a matter of time before we start getting very granular in the data points that a buyer or seller can report on.
Okay, great. Do we have other questions out in the audience?
It is awfully bright.
Question? Yes.
Yeah, I have a question of my own. So you mentioned the Bloomberg terminal in the beginning, and I understand it's only an analogy, but something like that works so well because the financial industry, has decided on a number of standard metrics that they all use to appraise inventory. When are we going to get there with programmatic, with media buying?
Don't we all still think the click is the metric? I think there's a lot of different metrics that we all go with today, and I don't know what the right answer to that is, because in every campaign or every piece of inventory that you're buying, there's a lot of uniqueness about that particular asset.
Right.
So I don't know if there's necessarily a standard. I think there's a standard pricing across it, right? I think there's a standard in reporting and what you should demand as a response to that. But I think for each campaign, there's different metrics. So I don't know if there's ever going to be a real standard.
Right. Do you think there should be?
I think we've come up with as many as we can so far.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Okay.
Oh, right here.
Just a quick question about how you plug in. Do you pull data out of systems, or do you wrap code into ad servers, etc.?
So we do both. There's some later versions of the tool that's coming out later in this year that will allow buyers and sellers to pull in third-party data from multiple systems, and those are APIs. Some of them we have built already that are push and pull, and there's further ones in development. So things like a Salesforce can be pulled into there, or data from the system pushed into a Salesforce.
other question? Okay, well, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.